Overland Tow Company. A couple of weeks ago I mentioned about bug out bag and that I was going to come back to you with a video about what I believe that you should have in a bug out bag. And the reason it's taken me a long while to get back to you is the more I thought about it, particularly for my own application and what I need, the more confusing and more complicated it got. So I've decided to do it in two videos. I'm going to do a video about what I consider you should carry in the UK if you're green laning, or in Europe, in the Alps, the Pyrenees, and countries that have good facilities for emergency services. Like in the UK, we've got an amazing mountain rescue system. The mountain rescue teams in England and Wales are awesome. The ones in Scotland are as well. Volunteer people, very switched on, know what they're doing, know their area, and they can get to you quick. They have the equipment. And we've also got an extremely good air ambulance in the UK, and most of Europe has. So the time limit of how long your bug out bag has got to look after you is different in Europe and the UK to what it would be if you were going from Tangiers to Cape Town or travelling South America or Russia. You know, any country that's much more remote, you're going to need a different bug out bag. So I'm going to talk to you now about what I think we should have in our bug out bag for the UK and for Europe. And believe it or not, everything we've got on the table here will fit in the Berghaus 25 litre bag. Berghaus is good quality, it's waterproof, bright colour, all the things that you need. So the first things I think that are important with any bug out bag, whether it be for Africa or here, it doesn't really matter. You've got three things to really consider. You've got to have warmth and comfort, you've got to have hydration, and you've got to have energy. So we'll get those three things out of the way to start with. So we'll carry as much water as we need, bearing in mind most vehicles will probably have two persons in the vehicle, so you need to have enough water on board for 24 hours. You don't have to carry it in the bag actually, you know, you can be carrying some of the water on yourselves, but you need to have enough water with you for 24 hours for two people. You're then looking at things like very simple stuff like baked beans for energy, tuna, small tins of food like this that will keep you going and look after you, energy bars, anything like that that's going to just give you enough energy and keep your systems going for 24 hours again. Very important to remember whether it's got a pull ring on the top or it hasn't. Better with a pull ring, then you don't need to be carrying a tin opener. It saves time. Also, spoons that are a knife, spoon and a fork. Again, very simple, three jobs in one. This was a freebie from LRO magazine. In fact, it does say LRO on it. So another good thing from LRO magazine. So we've covered water and food, keeping it very simple. Got to have a good woolly hat on because your heat dissipates out of your head and you've got to keep yourself warm. I always carry a long sleeve t-shirt. This is an old skiing one. It's thermal, and the reason I carry the long sleeve is that I can roll the sleeves up, but if I just had a t-shirt with me and I had bare arms, it could make me very cold and uncomfortable. So it's better to have a long sleeve t-shirt with you that you can roll them up. You could even cut them off if you needed to, but that's up to you. Now, good pair of walking socks, because if you've got wet getting out of the car, if you've got stuck in water, you've hydraulic the engine or anything like that, or the weather's horrendous, you know, the third element is comfort and keeping yourself warm. So the reason you have the t-shirt, the socks, the hat, good gloves again, because the heat dissipates out of your hands. You know, you've got to keep your core temperature up. Those are the things that are going to help you with that. Also, just a nice, easy, you don't even have to take it out of the bag while you've got it. It's a waterproof, breathable coat from Regatta, and it's a packet jacket. Perfect, takes up little room, great colour, fluorescent for the emergency service to see you, and over men's pack away over trousers, and again waterproof, well caught Russ. So there you go, waterproof trousers, jacket. So we've really got all the clothing sorted out there, but there's a potential of having wet boots if the scenarios takes you in that direction. So if you've got wet boots or anything, you know, it's not a bad idea to have a fibre towel with you for yourself, and maybe to dry out the boots to a certain degree. You're not going to get them dried out properly, but you know, anything that increases your comfort level if you're going to be remote and stuck on your own for 24 hours, you know, for the room that this takes up, great piece of equipment, a good old fibre towel, and even there's even enough room in there for a flannel. Then we're going to the survival bags. Now, a lot of them that you see these days are these little shiny silver packets, like tin foil. Yeah, they do a job, you know, they're designed to do that job, they're pretty good. But if you're on your own for 24 hours, whether that foil's going to stay together and do its job for 24 hours or however long you need it is probably debatable. So for a few pound more, you can get stuff like this from High Gear, single survival bag. Heavy duty plastic bag. It's weatherproof, waterproof, bright colour, and it will do the job for 24 hours comfortably, and it's of a size that you're going to get into and cover. So again, all that lot packs away neatly. I always carry a map in the outside of the front bag of the bag, because it's always good to have a map, because a paper map, because if your GPS on your phone goes down and your mapping goes down, you know, having a paper map and being able to work out where you are is a lot easier than being totally blind. So for the size of a map, it's a good idea to have a map with you. If at that point I always carry something like this, this is a Casio ProTrek watch. Now Casio ProTrek watches have barometers on them, a compass on them, and altitude. What a piece of kit for £130. Got 2 or 3 of these. It's my go-to watch when I go to Morocco, and I prefer it to my I've got a G-Shock here, the latest G-Shock. Brilliant watch, an awful lot more money, something like £370 is that watch, but it needs charging up. This watch doesn't, it's solar. So, you know, when it comes to having something in the wild, that's a brilliant watch. So the watch and the map all help with navigation. We then come probably to the most important thing to carry in your bag or strap to your bag. This is a Spot X. Spot is an American company that saw a place in the market for a rescue system. Garmin have something called, I think, Garmin Reach or something like that. Similar sort of thing. Basically, this is a get you out of jail system. This calls Thunderbirds out if you're in trouble. So if you're in real serious trouble, you flip the SOS button, which is shielded so you don't do it accidentally. Flip the SOS button, press the button, and if it's in the UK, probably the mountain rescue team that'll turn up. If it's in Europe, most of the Pyrenees and the Alps, they've got mountain rescue, helicopter rescue systems all over the place. and they will be the ones who are turning up. And this piece of equipment gives them all the information that they need to find you. It's spot on. Now, pardon the pun, spot, but it also acts as a messaging service, so you can send text messages with it, which and receive text messages, because you only really want to press that SOS button if it is life depends on it, because there will be a charge from the rescue services in some parts of the world, like Morocco, or even some of the European countries, a very good chance it's going to charge you. So this only needs to be pressed if it's a life-threatening thing, because otherwise you're going to end up with a big bill for a broken arm. It has got a mapping system, tracking mapping system. If you press the footprint on it, there's a little footprint there. If you press that button at the start of each day, it will follow you. It will lay down on a map where you are, and whoever is at home can log on to the Spot website and see where you are at any one time. Brilliant thing as a backup. It's a great safety thing. Families happy that they know where you are. You're happy that they know where you are. It's a very good thing to have. You pay for the unit, and then you pay a yearly subscription for it, and there's different levels of support. But I've never had to press the SOS, but at least I know it's there, and I keep that in the bug out bag. Right, moving on. If you've got a spare phone with mapping systems on it, it can be View Ranger, Gala, whatever you want, with a pay-as-you-go SIM card, in case you lose your own phone when you have to bail out the car. So a spare phone, battery charger to keep the phones charged up. Obviously this needs to be charged up. Also, most of these things end up as a torch as well, as a battery backup, but I really won't want to be flattening the battery as a torch. Right, 2 lots of knives. I go with a Stanley knife personally, because very, very sharp, and it'll cover most jobs. If you start wandering around Western Europe and the UK with knives like this, you can get locked up these days. Nice to have, but frowned upon. So you're more likely to be okay with that than that. I've been pulled over going out of Portsmouth to Santander. Never been stopped coming back, but I've been pulled over several times going, and every time they ask you, have you got any dangerous weapons with you, and I instantly tell them, look, I've got a machete, I've got a chainsaw, I've got several large knives with me, because I'm going into Morocco, where I need these things for cutting up wood or whatever, and they're okay about it. But if you don't tell them and you try and fob them off, and then they search the vehicle and they find the gear, they will confiscate and they will not be very happy. But if you hold your hands up straight away and say, yes, I have got whatever, they appreciate your honesty, and they'll 9 out of 10 times they'll let you on your way, providing you've got a good reason to have them. So that covers the knife side of it. This is documentation. I would suggest photocopies of passports, driving licenses, insurances, anything, photocopies of them in a folder, if you don't have chance to grab the genuine articles out of the car, because you have to leave it that quick. But photocopies of passports and that, they may just help you. Also, if it's in Europe, copies of the addresses and contact telephone numbers for UK embassies. If you're in France, Spain, Portugal, wherever, it's very easy to get that off the internet before you set off. It may be useful. These are little pieces of paper they're called a fiche, F-I-C-H-E, and it's something we use a lot in Morocco. We just cut them up, there's probably about 8 on an A4 piece of paper, and each one has full name, date of birth, passport number, address, vehicle registration number, and it's in French and English. And the reason I like to take them to any country, you know, it can help you with the language barrier to present this to a police or whoever, and you know, it shows that an amount of professionalism on your part, that they're going to appreciate that you're trying to make their lives easier as well. So right, we're getting down the pack now to the lesser items. Multi-tool makes sense. Nothing to talk about there. Head torch. This is another small LED torch. If you wear reading glasses like myself and you can't do without them, and you've lost them in the car or whatever, again when you're bailing out, for £3.50 a spare pair of glasses, it's worth it. Good pen. Rubber gloves for whatever you fancy. And we're down to bits and pieces now. For the room to take, half a dozen tie wraps, stormproof matches, glow stick if you're waiting for a rescue team and it's dark and it illuminates the area, fire sticks to get a fire going, and then we're on to things that you may or may not think are a good idea, but midgie repellent if you're having to spend some time in the survival bag, suntan cream, daft as it may seem. Paracetamols and aspirin are a good thing to have with you, and they can be taken conjoined. We then have antibiotics. These are bought when we're out in Morocco. Actually, they're not easy to get hold of in the UK, but this is amoxicillin. It's 1 gram per 125 milligram. It's not big doses, but it's you know, it's a good thing again to have with you. Some antibiotics, rehydration treatment just in case you end up with deli belly, and then we've got Piratron for bites, anything like that where you've got inflammation or a sting or anything. Piratron will help. Not in our first aid kit, but I always carry one hydrogel burn dressing. And then we're on to, if it's just in the UK and Europe, a pretty basic first aid kit that is just enough really. Better than, you know, just one that you'd have in the house. A good one. I should say a bit more than that. Right, so a good first aid kit that will get you through what you need to do for 24 hours. Hopefully, if you have hopefully you don't have a serious requirement for the first aid kit, but if you do, because of the spot system and mountain rescue or whoever you've got in Europe, the chances are somebody's going to get to you fairly quickly, much quicker than if you're in Africa. So you don't need as much gear with you. This is what I'd take. And to go with the first aid kit, I carry a book called First Aid and Wilderness Medicine, and it's an idiot's guide to first aid. And I don't know, you know, I don't know if you're the same as me. I go on my first aid course every 3 years for a refresher, and touch wood, I very rarely have had to put it into practice. Well, because you're not doing it every day, it's easy to forget what you're taught every 3 years. So having that wilderness book as a quick reference makes a lot of sense for how much space it takes up. You know, I think it's an extremely good thing to have with you. This is the one that they give me every 3 years, and I always have that with me as well. So it's nearly time for a cup of coffee with my Jeep mug. That is part one of our bug out bag. As I said at the beginning, this is just the basics that I think you need for the UK or for Europe, westernized countries where you've got a high probability of being rescued. I think I've covered most things. Obviously, if there's two of you in the car, you need 2 t-shirts, 2 sets of gloves, hats and everything, and there's still enough room in that bag to do that. The other things, considerations, you've got to take whereabouts are you going to put it in the car. Personally, I have it in the centre, behind my centre console, on the floor there, and I can literally just reach over, grab it, and I'm out. I'm going to do the second video, which will have these contents in it, but then some more, it'll be a larger bag and a more comprehensive kit for third world countries, Africa, South America, and that I think are applicable. Now, you're probably going to watch this video and think, I missed that. If I did, please leave it in the comments, because nobody's perfect. We're all here and ready to learn. I am very much ready to learn. I appreciate you watching our Adventures YouTube channel. We're new to this. We're getting there. This is my first proper video with my new Sony vlog camera, and I hope it comes out okay. Now, if you've enjoyed it and you like it, please like our channel. It's a growing channel, and we're going to be putting more and more things on as time goes by. We've got tomorrow. We've got 2 days. Got the Mountain Rescue England and Wales guys here for 2 days tomorrow on some off-road driver training. The next weekend we're in the Yorkshire Moors and Yorkshire Dales with a group. The weekend after that we're out with Land Rover Owner magazine. We're mega busy, but we'll try and put the videos together as and when we can. We really do appreciate you watching us, and there you go. It's the website's www.adventures.co.uk. My name's Russell Dykes. Thank you very much for watching. The Grumpy Yorkshireman. Bye.